Hi, I'm Brian Welk here in TheWrap's studios for Sundance for 2021, and I am joined by the team for Judas and the Black Messiah. I have director Shaka King and stars Daniel Kaluuya, Lakeith Stanfield, and Dominique Fishback. Thank you all so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank
you. Thank you. So, Shaka, let's start with you. I get why Fred Hampton is really the question. You know, we recently had the 50th anniversary of his death, but why did you want to bring up his story now? And what did you want to tell about it that maybe the general public didn't know about him?
Well, the story came to me via the Lucas brothers, who told me that they wanted to make a movie about Fred Hampton and William O'Neill that they envisioned as The Departed set inside the world of COINTELPRO. And I just immediately recognized that that was probably the only vessel that existed in terms of, it being an undercover crime movie where you could kind of put forth this kind of information and knowledge and this ideology and these ideas to the masses. And so, the ideas, in a lot of ways, to me, this is a movie about ideas. Like in the past, a lot of times you learn a lot about something you made via how people view it, and how people react to it. And so I read a few reviews today, and I read this one review where this reviewer just like encapsulated something that I hadn't known how to articulate, which is that like I've actually incorrectly been thinking about this movie. I've fallen into a sort of catchphrase where I was saying it's a Fred Hampton biopic Trojan horse inside of an undercover crime drama, but we kind of just said that to sell it. The truth in that is it's really a movie about ideas in a lot of ways. And I think that that's probably what drew me to it in the first place, was that just Fred's ideas were so radical and so logical, and he had a way of making them, expressing them in such an incredibly logical and funny and humorous and brilliant way that it just, I was compelled to move forward with it.
And Daniel, speaking to just everything that Shaka just described about Fred, how did you live up to that? How did you get into his mindset? And what were some of the conversations that you had with your director about this character and about understanding him in that moment?
Shaka gave me the Black Panther reading list. In order to be a fully fledged Panther, you needed to go through 6 weeks of political education. And I kind of took in majority of the books on that. I kind of trying to get into the mindset, get into the perspective of him. And then we went back and forth about the script. Shaka really engaged with my notes more than anyone, really. That's really, really, really kind of really well thought responses to how I responded to it. And then we kind of, a year before we were shooting, we kind of had 4 days and had 4 or 5 days, and we kind of just spoke about the script, spoke about the ideas, spoke about the Panther, spoke about spoke about as human beings, about our personal experiences. And then we did the speeches. And it was so important for me to kind of work, but not in a working environment. It's kind of really kind of explore the cadence of Chairman Fred in that sense, and in a safe space. And then it was recorded, and we practiced some scenes. And then I watched it back, and he sent it to me, and I watched it back, and it was just kind of a way to kind of look at yourself from outside yourself, instead of being in your head, and just go, oh, this is just the process. Let's go. There's nothing to really fear here. You just got to go. You got to go and do it. But then there was another week that we spent in LA, sitting down and just going through the script again and speaking about the ideas, speaking about the philosophy, speaking about aspirations, him speaking about his touchstones, and yeah, it was a lot of conversations.
Lakeith, you give a very nuanced performance in this film as kind of playing the double agent. I mean, you are the Judas in this film, in the title. I wonder, what you knew about William O'Neill, before taking the part, and as you learn more about the history, I guess, what do you think of him today?
Actually, I think I learned more about myself. I had a bunch of judgments and things Like I was like, fuck this dude. Like I didn't like what he did, and I had a lot of judgments and things, but I had to open up my heart and my space and myself to, challenge myself to go against what my nature was, and try and find some humanity and something that was just for me, like it wasn't even tangible and real until I had to like step into the space. So yeah, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about humanity and putting myself in that position to have to make those decisions. Like really made me understand. Like there's just more dimensions to things that you than that you may know or whatever. Like it's just more dimensions to things. And through that discovery, I was able to discover more about myself. Like through Bill in a strange way. So that was valuable.
Okay, and Dominique, you play Deborah Johnson in this movie, and I understand you got to meet with the real Deborah Johnson and kind of talk with her, and that she even saw the film and reacted to your relationship with Fred on screen. What was that like to get that reaction and to meet with her and understand her background?
Yeah, I feel like it was a surreal experience. We went to Chicago to meet the family, and we spoke around a table for about 7+ hours. And at certain points, I would look around and say, "Oh my gosh, I'm in the house that Chairman Fred grew up in." Like, could you have imagined this? I've always had an affinity for history, Black history in particular. So to be here talking to Mama Akua, formerly known as Deborah Johnson, and Chairman Fred Jr. was surreal. And then just thinking that when she came to set, I was nervous, right? She was in Video Village, and I was like, so that's where I'm not gonna go. And so I was like, I'm planning to stay on set after I did a scene. And they were like, Mama Akua wants to see you. So I came down, and Chairman Fred Jr. was crying, and he says it was his allergies. And Mama Akua says, you did that scene. I was a Deborah Johnson up there. And that was really profound to me, because we didn't have a lot of videos of her when she was the age that I was representing her. And so it was about, I was journaling a lot as her and trying to build up the world that we didn't get to see on camera. And so to hear her say that meant that wherever I was leaning towards from my gut instinct was kind of paying off in that way.
You did so well, beautiful. You fucking killed it. I'm proud of you. And you wrote that.
Thank you, Ayo Cactus.
She wrote that poem too. Y'all better stop sleeping.
Wow. I mean, all of you in this movie are incredible. And I want to talk about, Daniel, your speeches in this film, just the fire you bring to it. Again, yeah, like, how did you psych yourself up for those moments? And Shaka, when you first saw him do that, in whether it's the church scene or any of these moments, what was your reaction? How did you know he had that fire in him?
I had this music playlist that I would have, and there's certain songs that tap into a certain energy in me that I love, and I would just list. Like I would like when I had a speech day, I would go by myself for just like preserving myself and my where I'm the focus, but also for my vocal cords. It's just not wise to be talking in between scenes and taking away whatever steam I have. And then so then it's kind of like, yeah, so it was I would just tap into those songs and those energies that meant something to me, and then I felt that was similar to the energy that I was reaching for, and then I'll just be unapologetic. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, just like, you know what I'm saying? Let's fucking go. You know what I'm saying? Shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, let's fucking do this. You know what I'm saying? It's like, let's wake some people up. You know what I mean? Let's fuck it.
What songs? Do you remember what song?
Yeah. I'll tell you the playlist, bro. I said it was a couple songs. It was just like songs that I just like that made me go crazy. I actually listen to it when I work out as well. It's just like just tap into something in me.
Can you give me one? Can you give me one? I'm just curious. Give me one song that you listened to that day.
That day, or on the day that
yeah. If you can remember, one of the songs you might listen to.
So C-Biz, The Game Is Mine.
Who was it?
It's a rapper called a UK rapper called C-Biz, and a song called The Game Is Mine. Okay. And he's just unapologetic. You know, that was like, it's just like, yo, we sell shit and we don't give a fuck. And we, like the videos is like, the guys have got like 4 watches. It's like, what the fuck? You don't even, how much time do you need to tell? Like, it's like that, it's just that energy that, I don't, it just brought something out of me. And when that song gets played, yeah, that one. And then when that song gets played in the club, how people are is what I resonated with. Do you know what I'm saying? It's how it moves people and going, okay, I want that movement, you know? And then how it moved me when I'm in that place. Do you know what I'm saying? And I just don't look at like, oh, what they're saying is it this, but it's like, how do they move the people when they're in a certain space? And it's got to be a collection of people, you know? It's not just like, oh, one, or just, oh, I like this song. It's like everyone just stops what they're doing, stops caring about how cool they look and just go. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's those kind of songs that I was tapping into.
Yeah, Shaka, you know, when you saw him in those moments, you know, just transform and just be able to just captivate the entire room. You know, what were your thoughts? You know, what did you know, how did you get him into those moments?
I mean, you know, I think I had one of my old professors, Jose Santana, I believe it was him who said that, you know, 90% of good directing is good casting. So, you know, when we'd done the work, and he'd really done the work when the day came for us to shoot that scene. So all I did was say, shoot the rehearsal. And, you know, and made sure, you know, myself, and I'm so glad that I get an opportunity to thank this woman, my first AD, Benita Allen, who's just, you know, did an incredible job. And, you know, that whole really AD team just like really amped the crowd up before he even stepped in. And you know, even down to, I was thinking about, you know, when we found that location, and I got excited immediately because the staircase goes, you know, it's like that staircase, and that's why we have that shot. That's the wrestler, you know, that's just the wrestler. He's going in the arena, like stepping, you know, and him going up those stairs, him waiting at the bottom of the stairs. We had him wait at the bottom of the stairs while the audience just cheered his name, you know, and he was just gathering up steam, you know what I mean? And then we just like let him out the cage, you know, and he just went up the stairs, and he, in that moment, really channeled the energy that Fred Hampton, Chairman Fred Hampton, is so well known for.
Yeah, like one of my favorite moments is like when he's like, "I'm free, y'all." Like that's just like,
that's the Shaka though. Shaka told me to be sit in it. Shaka told me to sit in it because I was free, and he was like, you know, just say it. He said, just say like, I'm free. Yo.
Yeah, that was beautiful, man.
That's incredible. He looks up.
And I was like, then you went somewhere else. That's how I see it happen. You said I'm free, and then you looked up, and then energy went right through you. Like it was phenomenal.
And you know what's so beautiful about it? It's like you were like subtly appealing to God in a way, like, you know, and knowing that Fred had like died is just crazy. Like, you know, that you were just carrying that like God spirit or something. Like it felt angelic. You know, that speech, man, that shit felt angelic. It was fucking great.
It was a spiritual moment. That whole day, like I remember just sitting in that space and just being so satisfied. I was like, you know, I felt very confident about everything we'd done prior, and I felt confident about everything that we were going to do after. But I knew that just everybody's work in that day, and that's, you know, the three of you and Jesse, I knew that, you know, the work that you did on that day, I knew was so profound that Jesse, I was like, look, even if like this is the only scene that really cracks like that, like people will still rock with the movie because that scene is gonna cook, you know.
Mm. Yeah, that was real, man. Everything in that scene was real.
I remember there was, and it was one of the takes. I forgot about this, and I was just like, I was about to do the take. I was about to do the take again. I was like, my hand's fucked. Like I was just about to take my hand's fucked, and I hollered at Joyce. I said, "Yo, I need ice. Yo, I need ice for my hand. My hand's fucked." I said, "Why my hand fucked?" And everyone look at me. Rebecca's looking at me. All these people look at me. I said, "Oh shit, I was banging that shit. That's why I never banged it. I couldn't bang it because the way I was back, but I fucked up my hand. But I didn't remember me doing it. I knew I was about to do it, and I think my brain was like, "Yeah, you're gonna hit this thing there. You can't hit this. You can't hit this shit." I completely bruised it, and I was like, and I didn't redo it again because I actually couldn't. Like,
I'm so glad we were framed up the way we were framed up for that strike.
Yeah, that's so perfect. Like,
it's one of the most. I mean, that whole man.
And you know what, man? The crowd was so live. Like, I love that. Like every time, like a lot of times when like you're doing a lot of takes with extras, they don't keep the energy or whatever. Like they lose interest or whatever. But everyone was like in the spirit of everything, and they were really like a part of the whole thing. It was amazing.
We had to move some people because they were hogging. They were going too crazy. I was like, yo, we got to move. There was like a couple people in the front. I was like, yo, we got to move them to the back because they're like stealing it, you know?
Yeah.
It was
listening. That's what's mad. They were listening. You know what I mean? And it was so because we were saying Chairman Fred's words, like his actual verbatim words. And they were listening and they were reacting to the realness, you know, the root, the source.
How would you sum up, you know, Fred Hampton's legacy today? I kind of feel like the way everyone's just talked about him and just how his words are able to captivate people, that is some of the legacy. But, you know, what would you say, you know, if to younger people today who are reading up on him, that they should understand about what he did?
Well, just quickly, I feel like a lot of times we think of these people as heroes and we don't get to see ourselves in them. So I'm really happy that we got to show moments that weren't about the revolution, but were about love and where maybe he's not as dynamic as we all see, so that we can hopefully see ourselves in the leaders that came before and know that all you have to do is be human and care about something enough and you can make a difference. You know, a lot of times we think they're so high and so we can't reach them. And so I hope that people could see this and feel like maybe they could reach something, if not that, like something closer to aligned.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining me today. It's an amazing film, and all three of you are incredible in it. And, you know, best of luck at, you know, the rest of this awards season.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you. Take care.